Yo, what's up? This is Vicidus, and for today's session, we're going to create a character base mesh, which is more masculine, more muscular in that sense. So when I show you this, I'll show you what we were going to be processing in that sense, from primitive stage or blockout stage to low poly stage, and then sculpting phase. This will be another project that I'll be doing to showcase what is going on, and by articulating that, you'll know what I'm trying to intend for this. For this session, we're going to be doing more of a base body of type mesh, so as in a bulky type. So I'm going to show you some designs that we're going to look at. So I'm not even look at, it's more like, give me a second. Here, so let me get this, and let's see, we'll capture 3, these. Alright, so you see that? So I'm going to be showcasing what I'm talking about in terms of like a character base, and this is going to be what I'm going to show when we're looking at this. You see, this kind of base mesh is specifically a bulky type, as in the type is very muscular in that sense. But you can tell by the body that there's multiple parts to it, like abs, parts here, arms and shoulders, even legs, and the biceps are strong too, right? So when we look at this design, we're going to think about how it's going to be used inside the game itself. So you can always just look at this model and then actually reference where parts are coming out from. For example, or in this case, the person already put all the notes already. So I'm going to essentially try and do this, and you're going to start seeing what I'm talking about. So let me turn this off, and actually, not yet. You can look at this too, and you're going to start seeing what I'm doing. My process when doing this is from like last time, is using a primitive stage of the base, and then you look into it, and then you'll be able to create what you're creating. So in this case, I'm going to create the base of the thing here. I'm using x-axis, so using this here too, like that, just like this, and like this, and like that, just like that, right? Now I'm going to try and do this. Try and make the chest a bit bigger in that sense. You see what I'm doing? I'm essentially making the chest in a more bigger form factor in that sense. So now we're gonna make this like this, just like that. Next, we're gonna start adding in the extra cube here, put in where the chest is gonna pop out from. In this case, the chest is pretty big, so we can actually make this bigger in that sense. You see that? And now we're gonna try and make the part here, so we can copy this here. Do that as well, make it a little bit smaller, but not too small. And then we're gonna try and click on this, click on that, press sculpt, and then press this here, just like that. There, you see? Now we got that base. I'm gonna use this, Control-C-V. And then we're gonna make some of the body parts pop out. So in this case, it's gonna be a little bit more special because we're gonna create parts of the body in more of a 3D form and sense. Just like this, and then we're gonna do here, and then we're gonna put this over here, and here, and we're gonna CMV this, put that part there.
On the YouTube Music app, you can make your fave songs in the background.
So, alright. Oh, give me a second. Alright, so now we're going to see what's going on. We're going to press this. Study here. Right, so W is meant to move, and if you guys are wondering about this, so Control C and V. Now we're going to create this here, and we're going to scale it, and we're going to make the arms based on what we see and what we do. So now look careful when I'm doing this. I'm trying to make the arms, but I'm not trying to overdo it. I'm trying to give mass to it, but not try and elongate it to make it look too stupid or alien based. As you can tell, it doesn't look right if it looks kind of stupid, right? So my main point when creating this is to show that you can use anatomy to your features and to your toolkits nonetheless. Here, I'm gonna press like that, and then I'm gonna press this, press C and V, press W here, and then press this here, press this there, here, C and V, here too, just like that. Okay, so CNV. Just like that. You see the muscles here? The muscles at this thing here? You see how there's muscles there also? So we're going to do something very similar, but we're also going to add some more details in a very more distinct way, as in the mask will depict what we create in that sense. Just like that, and then I'm going to press, here, we're going to do this, CNV, press that again, CNV, that means copy and paste, or Control CNV is copy and Control V is paste. Now we have some base here in that sense that we can use, and now we're going to add more muscles to this in the end. So for example, we're going to press CNV, and then we're going to make this a bit smaller in that sense. Make this like this, just like that. And then I'm going to press the part here. Remember, this part of your blockout phase isn't supposed to be so perfect. You're just trying to do this so that you can get a grasp on what kind of form and pose you want to create in that sense. Also, when you create this neck here, we're going to make it slanted towards here because his base is going to be his neck here in that sense, right? So we're going to put the body in that sense much more slanted towards the crunch back form, as in he has more muscles here, so his face is going to be placed on that side in that sense. So we're going to put this there, and his face is kind of big, but not too big. You know why? Because you make the face big, it's going to make the character look small. You make the face smaller, it makes the base of the body big. It's like a contrasting or like an opposite reaction thing when you see it. So now I want to create this. We're going to create the sculpt. Press this, press that, and then we're going to press this. Sculpt mode, and now we're going to try what we're trying to do. Use stat mode, and now we're going to create that body like this too. And then we're going to put the base like that. Since his mouth is like kind of big, we have to make it look like kind of like this in the end. So his chin is kind of like a trapezoid, almost that sense. So you see that, just like that. And we're gonna create the parts here, just like that, just like this. CNV, just like that. CNV. So now we're gonna try and make this a little bit bigger in that sense, and now we're gonna try and put this here, like that. You see how now it looks kind of big, but it's actually perfect for this body size that we're adding in. We're gonna do this here, and then we're gonna CNV, and we're gonna put that just like that. You see that? Just like that, just like that. Or it could be like this here too, and this here also. And then we're gonna make the kneecaps by making the circles here. Do it like this, do it like this. And then we're gonna make the feet a little bit smaller, but this is gonna make it a little interesting in that sense. You see how proportion can actually teach the person or teach the user how to make things look more appealing, because anything that's proportion is also very appealing. Because you're essentially creating something that is easy to look in the eye. Make it look too funny and it's gonna look very alien or out of this world in a sense. Making things more humanoid, more realistic, you have to put fundamentals and properties to make it easy to the eye, but makes sense to what we look at. So now we're gonna do this here, just like that. Alright, cool. Now we're gonna try and take this out, put this up there, and then we'll press C and V, and press W here. Put that in there, and just click on that. There we go. So now we're gonna try and CNV this. Remember, this is not supposed to be so detailed because you're not trying to make it detailed. You're trying to make this work when we go into the low poly stage. So do whatever it takes to make your point forward when you create the design. And this will allow you to look at the design with more of that sophistication. There, now you see that? So now we can actually add in we're gonna do the part where we're gonna add in the hands. But in this case, we don't have to do too much. It just has to look well enough where you know, where you do understand what's going on. So I'll put this here, just like that. All right, cool. Also, in the near future, when we use this base mesh, we're gonna create a Doom guy character or like a buff soldier or buff knight in that sense for the design. So keep that in mind when we're actually creating this character. So we're going to be creating this here. Press W. There we go. And just look at that. Press W again. And then we're going to press R. We're going to scale this a little bit. Scale it well enough, but not too much. Boom. Now you got yourselves the base for the hand. We're not going to add too much to it because this is not meant to be a pro design yet. And there, we have technically what we have is what we need. So now we can start doing the process of creating the character. As you can tell from the previous videos, I usually start using a cube in a sense to create it, because using a cylinder or even a sphere to create this will take forever in that sense. But in some cases, you're going to have to use other meshes and other designs, such as cubes, cylinders, and different parts of the body to actually connect. So I'll be teaching the art of vertex connecting within these things to show that you can make these parts modular, and within each modular piece, you can understand how it's created. Starting right as of now. So we're going to go to cube. Now, remember, to click this, actually, give me a second. Now click this button here. This is an X-ray button that's going to allow you to look at these things clearly. Then we're going to go here, and now we're going to start creating the base for this. Now press edit mode, make your loop cuts depending what you need, so in the end, and just start making the base more clear to your eye when you see it. In this case, I want to put my part here in that sense, where the neck's going to pop up, and then we're going to put the base just like this. You see that? You see how I'm doing it? So in this case, we're going to click on these multiple vertices. We're going to create this neon, right? And then we're going to slowly render this slowly. You see that? That and that. This will give you more details and more control as you design this. Don't add too much, or else it's going to break its I won't say break, but it's gonna be a lot harder for you to control it back. Do everything in a more low poly sense, and then that gives you more control over what you're designing and what you're doing in that sense. Period. So now we're gonna start adding in the volume to it slowly, and add in some more components to it too. Just like that, just like this, just like that. There we go. And since we're in this phase, we can technically do something more special here. So we can add like some here, like there too, but not right now. So we're gonna click on this, and this will be our abs for the moment in time. So we're gonna be adding some abs here. So the first thing you had to think about is that you gotta put the separations of the faces and make different faces to display the detail. And then you make it 3D by just moving them into the Z-axis nonetheless. Just like this, press W, and boom. Now we got a chest piece you can use. And then, if you want to add more detail, you can, but for now, we're not going to do that. We're going to add in the correct format for this. So you see how there's a neck here in that sense? So what we're going to do is that we're going to try and put this over here, and that gets more of that space here, and make that back bigger. Add an edge loop here to display that detail. Actually, yeah, just like that, right? And then, actually shouldn't be doing this like that yet, but you can kind of tell what I'm talking about. So to be smart, you can take away this edge, and we're going to be dissolving edge. And this gives us a very big space here, right? Then you can essentially add more to it. But for now, we're going to focus on this part here. So we did this part here, so we're going to come back to it when we finish it. So now we're going to essentially add in this part. So for this case, we're going to add this parts to here, and this will allow us to essentially create a chest space for the body. Create this here, and you can click on that and press W, just like that, just like that. Press R, just like that. Okay, cool. So now we got this right. We're gonna click on this, press this. And we're going to do just like this, just like that, press I. And now we got ourselves the point where we can connect the body and that thing in a sense too. Since we're trying to make this a little bit more muscular in a sense, we're going to use these two edges here. And we're going to try and like slowly do this in the end so that we have more depth to the body itself. Put that edge up here like sense. Now we got something more usable in that sense. So we're gonna press this, press that, Control E, change this into extrude amongst normals, but not through individuals. That's gonna be not good for the body to look at. Now you can create this. Then, like last time, we're gonna create that point where we're gonna make things connect in that sense. Just like that. And we'll press R like that. Just like this and this. You see how I'm doing it? Just like that. And remember, this is supposed to be your own stylized mesh, so I'm just teaching you some basics in like the designing of the body and how it can work depending what you want. So this is gonna be like that. And then we're gonna make the 2 points here. We're gonna press R. And then press this here as well. And then we're gonna press this here, press this there, put that there, press W down, press R in that sense. Alright, cool. Now we got ourselves what we needed. So we're going to, and if you're actually kind of smart about this, you can clean these up later. But you gotta add in some details here and here, just in case. And we'll go here, press this, and press this. We're gonna press R, and then we're gonna try and just slowly add some depth to it. You see that? There we go. And now we're going to try and do just like that. Alright. Okay, looks like we got a base. So now we gotta clean up the edges here. Dissolve edges. And then we're gonna try and just extrude. Just like that. And I think I know what's wrong. You gotta use the cruiser, and then now we're gonna press view, viewport, and we're gonna do front. This will allow us to create the things just like that, right? So we're gonna try and do it differently. Rather than using that, we're gonna use extrude region, and then that's gonna allow us to do that. So we're gonna have to do this, and do this, and press this one. All right, one, 2, 3, 1. And 1 here, and that. There we go. Now, since we're in this view mode, go to vertices, and we're gonna start cleaning up this part of it. Since we have this part of the base mesh done, now we can start essentially directing it correctly to what it is, rather than make it so slanted like this, just like that. And then we're gonna move these things slowly, step by step. Just like that. And then we'll press E, we're gonna press like this. Just like that. Just like that. Just like, no, actually, just like that. So we'll press this E, and we'll press like that. Just like that. Just like that. So you see this happening, press R, and then you can just literally just fix it depending on what you want. So I think that works, so we're gonna just fix this. So we're going to do alright, press E here, direct it like this, direct it like that, press E here. Remember, this is a very low poly phase of the designing. We'll add more sculpted elements to it as we develop it, but for now we're just trying to make this part very very easy to understand, and that's going to allow us to sculpt more features as we have more control over the piece. When you do things all in low poly, you have more control over what you do because there's less polys to control in that sense, so it's easier for you to put that emphasis. But once you do everything on multi-resolution or sculpting, you're going to have a hard time trying to get the details right. So don't overdo the sculpting form yet when you enter that kind of formed phase. So here, we're gonna press R, and we'll press that body like that. Check here, just like that. Actually, this part here, we're gonna make it a little bigger. Now you see how it's looking more like a muscular man in that sense. I'm gonna make this a little like that. And then if you want, we can do this and press W, and that's gonna make this thing look bigger. Makes sense. Now it's much more bigger, and we're going to do this. And so now we can actually add in the feet for this. Remember, you don't really need this edge here. You want to separate things separately, one step at a time. So I'm gonna press this and this. Delete. Don't delete the edges, just dissolve them and then come stack. You see that? So now we're gonna press this and press that, and then that's gonna allow you to control E this in the end. There we go, you see? Now you can actually make the feet now because of it. So there's extrude. I use globing box, global. Alright. So this, and then we're just press WE like that. And then now we're going to press, when I click on these two vertices, delete, dissolve, no, not dissolve, but dissolve the vertices here. And then it turns to that. Because this is happening, it's not looking so good. Use this tool called knife and just connect the bases here and here. There we go. And then connect the two things here. So all your tools are here to give you that versatility nonetheless. Alright, cool. Now we're gonna press here, and then we're gonna press this here, press W, W here, just like that, W here as well. Okay, so you're starting to see what I'm talking about, right? So now we can add in some edge loops here to add more details to it. Just sense. Now we got something up and running, so but to make this a little bit more clean, we're going to have to look at the edges here and actually clean it up to some extent. So we're going to look at the edges here and then delete this. Actually, no, I'm going to probably delete this. I'm going to probably delete this and this, and we're going to delete dissolve edges here. And to make this a little bit more clean, we're going to delete these edges as well, just like that. There we go. This is the art of cleaning it up, so that way it'll be more easy to read and more to understand in that sense. So now we got this. Add more edge loops here, and press W to do this. See that? Or R to do that. So, alright, so we got the base here, right? Now we're gonna try and fix the legs up to get it more of that body and mass to some extent, so like this and this. Now we're gonna try and use a extrusion here and here, and we're also going to make them pop out like that too. So do this here and here, gonna pop out like this too. Here, here, W here. Do this. Just bring them all the way back up, just like this. Now I want to make this one, these feet here a little bit smaller. So this point here is going to be a little bit small in that sense, just like that. And then I'm going to make this part here a little bit small, actually a little bit small as well too. And then we're going to make these parts here like that. The parts here, here. This one here as well. Just like that. Just like that. Alright, you see how what's going on here too? If you forget to do this, just try and like change it a little bit and try and like change it so that way it's actually directing itself right on the right mesh, right parts of it. By doing that, you can do it like this, and then you just scale it right. Now we have a bigger mesh for that sense. So we'll do this here, click on that, press R, and then we're gonna just slowly paste that down. There we go. So it looks kind of flat, right? So we're gonna add in more biceps to it too, but these parts here are gonna help us create the biceps nonetheless. So I'm gonna turn off this to see it more clearly. So, all right, looks not bad. Now we're gonna go here, and well, that's just kind of crazy to look at. So we're gonna turn this off, and then we're gonna go edit, and then now we're gonna look at what we were looking at, and add some abs to it. That, like that, just like that. You see how I planned it out? And now it's allowing me to actually create the abs nonetheless. Boom, now we got these things up and running, right? We're gonna click on each of these things to save ourselves some time. And there, we got made some abs here. Check that out. So we're not gonna do anything else yet until we complete this process. So now we can add in the face here, or the head shape here, right? And then since there's round points here, we're going to essentially clear it up by giving a better spacing for this. So we're gonna do this and this, press R, and that's gonna look like this, right? And that will allow us to change it to some extent. Press W, press like that, just like that, actually like this. Press R, there. Now you see what I'm talking about, right? So this will be the point where we can actually put our face in that sense, or the neck. So, all right, so now we got this, right? So our next step is to create the hands, or the arms, but for this step, we're gonna create the face for this. So we're gonna object, we're gonna go press add mesh, UV sphere, or not gonna sphere, yeah, this one. So when we create add this, right, we're gonna try and make it as simple as possible without doing too much of it. So look at this. Actually, no. Now I remember now. So we're going to add up mesh and then go to UV sphere. When we create this in the end, we're going to actually no. It's, actually object delete add mesh UV sphere. Alright, does that. So I'm going to have to start changing settings again. So we're going to add this here. Press that. 32. Wait, give me a second. This will be 32. And so I think should be probably 16. There we go. Alright, so now I got this right. So we have a face we can use. If you want to make it a little bit more like the same way as this one, you're supposed to make it as easy to manage as possible, because if you box model it, you can, but it takes a lot more time when you're doing so in the end. So you see I'm doing it, I'm creating this, and I'm starting to slowly create a point here also. Just like that. You see now, we can create the big mesh like that. Just like this too. And then we're gonna start sculpting that part. So we're gonna just put that all the way back up, like this, like that, like this, just like that, just like this, just like that, like this, just like that. Alright, so you see how there's only like 6 here? And there's like a lot here. So what you could actually do is just make this a little bit more simpler. Press edit, and then we're gonna try and find those spots there, and that will essentially allow us to dissect each part. But the more we do this, the more we have to actually, or in this case, we're going to solve the vertices so it will be easier for the neck to be placed in. So just like that. Dissolve vertices, just like that, but give me a second. Alright, so it's like this, 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 this. Right. Delete dissolve vertices, and okay, it does that. So, okay, so it's this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Alright, so I guess I can't really do that, but I can delete the vertices, and then it does that. So, alright, so. Alright, so if that doesn't work, you're going to have to start using the mesh and UV sphere. You're going to make something a little more simpler, so that's like 8 by 8. And that's going to create it into this kind of sphere. You see? Now it looks like that. But if it doesn't work like that, then try and do something else by just manage the settings and just make them look decent in that sense. So here, let me try this again. Alright, so this should probably work. So we're going to use this. And now we're going to try and make the face now. Like last time, we're going to use the symmetry here, and then we're going to try and make the face just like that. Just like that, and it's just like that. Just like that. See how it's working like that? And we're going to try and do this here. And then we're going to try and just make the spacing like that. Just like that. And then we're going to try and make the space like this. Just like this. And just like that. There you go. Now we got ourselves a face we can use. Not to mention we got the part here a little bit cleaned up in that sense. Now I'm going to just move this a little bit around here. And okay, now we got ourselves the thing here in that sense. So now we're gonna try and do this, and then we'll do this here, just like that, just like this. Make it look like Zangief's designed that face. This would be a very different face to use. Okay, now we got this right. Now we can essentially just put this back up here, and then this will be our neck in that sense. And then this will be placed here and here to emphasize that head shape, like that, just like that. Now I'm gonna press edit. Now I'm gonna press here, this, and this. Delete and faces. Now we got our stuff, this thing here, right? So 1, 2, 3. So this has around 12. You see that? There's around 12 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is around. So we have to make this into at least 12 or at least 6 faces. So we're gonna try and dissolve some of these things here. So there's around 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12, right? Just take away all the odd vertices in a very pattern-like way. And that's delete, and then that's going to do dissolve vertices. And now it does this. This is going to be perfect for our own shape the neck to be placed in. You see that? So now we're going to do this and this, this and this, right? Make that a little bit bigger in that sense. Add that neck in. So if it has to, we're going to probably be making this a little bit bigger just to make the necks connect way better in that sense. Using the sculpt tool and symmetry will make your life a lot easier as you have more control over what you're doing in that sense. So just like this. Alright, cool. Now we're gonna try and get our neck up and running. So I'm gonna try this. And see, now we have our neck here in that sense. Now we're gonna put this here, put that there. There, it's perfect. Alright, so we can do this, and then we can try and make the neck like this. Like that. Alright, cool. Now we're gonna put our neck here, so object, press edit, now we're gonna press this. Press I for a bit, and then we're gonna try and extrude this. Since we made the insert loop for this, we're gonna press W, and we're gonna create this, and then that will allow us to create a neck in that sense. Press Ctrl E, we're gonna create a neck here and here. You see what's going on? Since the link here is smaller, we gotta make the neck smaller as well, to make it more proportionate to what we're doing. Just like that, right? So now, object, put that. Since he's more of a strong man with a hunchback, because he has some more muscles here, we're gonna make this a little bit simpler for us to use. And then press edit, we're gonna delete this face here. Delete the face, face here. And then now, we're gonna add, remember this trick, okay? If you're trying to merge the vertices to like two separate objects, it's not gonna work unless you join them. Like that, join these two, and then you press edit, and I'll be in the same edit mode frame to do this in that sense. So now we're gonna try and press this, press W, and we're gonna click on magnet. That's gonna allow us to look at this. Now we're gonna press closest to that into vertex. And that's going to allow us to connect this in the end just like that. Connect just like that. Connect just like that. Connect just like that. Connect just like that. And connect just like that. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's usable for now in that sense. So X-ray again. And then we're going to try and make this a little more easy to look at. So for the X-ray, we're going to do actually not right now. All right, so we're going to click on this, and click on these two. Right click, go to merge vertices at center. Check to see if it's actually working. Check to see if it's working or not in that sense. And it should probably work. If it doesn't work, then you gotta click on both of them and merge to center, or click on both of them, merge at distance. Okay, it doesn't work like that. And merge vertices at center. And if it still doesn't work like that, then okay, you see why it doesn't work? The reason why is because these two haven't been connected yet. So just edit, and then you're gonna try and is it joined together? It's not. So join first, press edit, and that's what I'm talking about. So this will allow you to merge vertices at center, and now look what's going on. Now it's been merged because you need to connect both of those meshes together to do so in that sense. Merge vertices for each one of them in that sense. Merge each vertice just like that. Just take time. Remember, this is not really the final character in that sense, so this will give you more time to make the mistakes and then just keep adding in that sense. So, all right, so we got our meshes here up and running too. So we're gonna look at this. We're gonna look at this. Looks like we did it. All right, cool. So, because the base of it doesn't look so good, we're going to try and like make the neck bigger in that sense too. Starting with this part, and then we're going to try and make it bigger. And this part here, we're going to make it a little bit bigger as well. And for this part here, we're going to essentially press Ctrl R like that, and press not Ctrl R, but it's just R, and then turn this off, and then now you'll be having a base for your character in that sense, just like this, like that, that, like that. It's R, just like that. Remember to always clean up your work in that sense. So we're gonna press R here. Just do this like that. Just like that. And just like that, you see that? And that one part there, just take that out. Just move it just like that. There we go. Now we got ourselves the base, so okay, first we gotta clean this up, but now at least now you guys know what I'm talking about. So, okay, we got this. Now we're gonna start creating the edge loop here. So make a slide here to add some details. Then you delete the edge on that spot to make the point there as well. Delete, and then use the dissolve edges, and then we're gonna press vertices here, just like that, 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 and then we're going to press R, and then that's going to scale us our point here, and then press R again to essentially just shove it like that, and now we have something that we can use for our essential thing here. See, now it looks like that, so you gotta put this back up here, press W, and just manage it just like that. See that? Now we ourselves our base for the body in that sense, and the arms themselves too. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Move this upwards again. And then we're going to do this here. Press on these two vertices. Press R again, and just scale it and proportion it right. Sit for these two and proportion it right. Okay, now we're going to press this. And this is where we're going to create the, if I were to recall, we're going to start creating the muscle mass because of this. You got to make these parts here, delete them, and just delete the faces here. And now we got ourselves an open spot for this. So, you look how arms are being created like this, right? So because there's so much details in here, so much like arms that's kind of look at the biceps, your best option is to use spheres to actually connect, and you just delete some parts of the faces to do that. It's a very unique trick in the books, and most people don't normally talk about this. But once you do it, it's actually a very fun thing to do. So let's mesh. We're gonna press UV sphere here. We're gonna create. This is gonna be its own separate thing in that sense. So let's see. We're gonna add in the. Yep. This will be our base for our muscle in that sense. So there's 6. You see this? There's essentially. So we're gonna look at this. You see here, there's essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? There's 6 parts there, right? So what you have to do here is you gotta find a spot here that has actually 6 spots you can choose to use. So there's around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But there's too many spots here to use. So you essentially have to find a way to open that spot up. So just click on these here, and then you delete this. There, now you have this, right? But now it's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's like 10, right? So take off four of these vertices and just make them very distinct. So take out 4 and you dissolve the vertices like that. There, now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Press W. And now we have that spot that you can actually connect the dots with. This is going to be meant to make the muscles in that sense. So now we're going to press Ctrl A to move all, and we're going to do that. But first, before we do any of this, we're going to start creating the other bone, all other parts for the muscles themselves. So okay, now go back to Object, press Add Mesh UV Sphere, and that's going to give us this part here. Doing everything using a very specific mindset will guide you to what you're doing. So in this case, we're going to do this. Press this here, just like that. See that? All right. This will be our part here. See what's going on here, and then we're gonna add this part here like that. So just like that, and then we're gonna put that part here, and then press Edit Heat, or actually Control R S, and just make that like open. Press Edit, and then we're gonna press. So there are 6 faces, so there's technically around 12. See, 1, so it's 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or at least 10, right? So you delete the faces here, right? And then same thing as last time. You're going to look at the vertices here, in that sense, and then you're going to try and make it work again like last time. Delete and delete, dissolve vertices, and then does that again. Same thing as last time. You slowly create things from there, and you slowly create the constants from there in that sense. Just like that. Now we're gonna do the same thing here in that sense too, right? Note, once you do this, you can actually like save multiple copies of these, and then you can just connect them depending what you want. But first, you have to do the work in order for this to work. So we're gonna click on these. Actually, click on these here. Delete, and then faces. Then I'm gonna click on this and this, this and this. Dissolve vertices here, and then we have that space there also. Do it like this, and then now we're gonna do this. Press W. Now you see what I'm talking about. You just created your pieces while you're annoying it, if you did it right in that sense too. Also, if it just does something like this, go to Object, go to Set Transform, or into Geometry, and it will automatically put that in the geometry itself. Alright, you see what I just did here, right? And if you're connecting the dots with me in that sense, this means you know what I'm about to do. So, put this like that, and then click on this, and edit this here, take out 6 pieces out, just like this, delete faces like last time, go to vertices, and just click on these points here, delete and dissolve vertices, then you click that on that part, and just make that look like that too, just like that, just like that also, just like that. R, just like that. Alright, so now we got ourselves a distinct form of control, and that control will allow us to make the muscles. This is only meant if you're trying to create a customized buff body mesh. If you do this for like a normal body mesh, it may vary with more detail, but the previous body or base mesh I've created was meant for characters that are kid-like or sports-like. This is just meant for wrestling or fighters that are just very buff in that sense. As you can see, what I'm trying to part my parts into. So, alright, got this right, so we can copy this here, press W here, and then within that spot, we can actually start creating the hands in that sense, our hands. Alright, so make this part bigger, make this part smaller, there we go, and then we're gonna connect all of these together, and then we're gonna start. After that, we're gonna start making the hands. But the hands should be a little bit easier since we've done this before, nonetheless. All right, so connect all of these. Press join, press edit, and then we're gonna start connecting each dot step by step. So go to this here, so that will allow us to connect each thing here, just like that. But it was a little bit hard in that sense. Always go here and just slowly connect the dots step by step. Just like this, just like this. See that? All right, so you're also seeing what is going on with the mesh, right? We can fix that later, but for now, we're just connecting all the dots in the end. We're just trying to essentially... Actually, this looks kind of weird. All right, give me a second. All right, we're gonna put everything in very synchronized ways. Okay, now it looks better. Let's try this again. So let's edit. Now we're just gonna connect the dots like last time. So this should be a little bit easier because now everything is actually connected pretty well. We'll add more details to it later, and the knife tool on Blender is probably the strongest tool to use when it comes to creating the edges that you want. But for now, we're just connecting the dots here in that sense. Actually, I'll put the stuff in here, actually, like that, and there we go. Place this here, place this there, place this here, place this there, place this here, place this there. Alright, now we're gonna try and do it for this place too. Put this there, put that there also, put that there. This will be a good indicator of how you're gonna actually connect the dots or merge the vertices. So when you see things like this, it doesn't look so symmetrical or looks very weird or animal or alien based. You're going to have to start fixing it and just refining the details to make it more realistic in that sense. Okay, now we did this right. Now we're going to connect each vertices that we created. And you know the indicator that's not really complete because of this, which gives you the option to essentially merge each vertices the right way. See now the vertices are actually been merged. Well, not merged completely, but with that, merge vertices at center. Alright, let's see. It still didn't do it. Yeah, I made the mistake again. So essentially, you have to connect and join all of them in that sense. Join, and now press edit. And this is going to be a little bit fun to do because it's going to allow you to connect them back. Same principles as last time. Just always check your work before you do something. Now you can do this, right? Vertices at center. 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 Merge vertices. Yep, that one's done. Keep doing this for each of the things you're doing in that sense. So for this case, if you see that it's only elongating from this part, that means this is being extruded into this form here. So all your vertices are going to be placed here in that sense. Hence now you understand. Look closely when I'm doing this, okay? Now this should be easy work. Just remember, look at each point right. So this may be hard for some and maybe a little bit too beyond people when it comes to these things. So this is going to be very... Alright, now we did this right, so let's check. Alright, cool. Alright, cool. Alright, cool. Alright. Now for this one. Alright, cool. Now we'll go to... Oh, see? I did it wrong. I thought it was around here, right? But it was extruded to there. So you have to do it over here. Merge vertices at center. Now you see how it does that. Merge vertices at center. Center. Merge vertices at center. Merge vertices at center. Merge vertices at center. Merge. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about, but yeah. Alright, cool. We did this. Now we're gonna go back into sculpt mode. And then if you do it, you can actually start making the muscles just by doing this in the end. You see that? But since it's not really complete, now we have to essentially go back to our mesh in that sense, and then we're gonna slowly add it into it. You see how it's no longer elongated, and now it looks like a real muscle. We add it into those areas closely in that sense. You see that? You see how I'm closely doing it? So we're gonna do this like that, and something like this. Slowly modify it depending on what you want. Just like that. Just like that. Now we're gonna look at this piece here, and then we're gonna try and move it right in its right space. You see how I'm slowly doing it in that sense? And that gives us more of that space to essentially make the muscles work in that sense. Just like that. See, it looks weird because I'm trying to actually like put it in the right space, which is already getting to that point. So you just have to move these parts here and move these things naturally to make it more organic in that sense. So we'll just put that there, and then we'll just put this here, put this there, put this there, and then this one here is the same thing as well. Just put it like that. Just put that thing like that. Just like that. Alright, looks like we got ourselves what we needed. Also, if you want, go out, and now it looks actually more fixed into what it is. Now all you have to do is just essentially move each thing naturally, so that way it will look more confirmed into what you're meshing it into. Just like that, just W, just like this, just W here. There you go. You see that? Alright. So this part here is a little bit funny, so we're gonna have to fix that. Click on the 6 shapes here, or vertices, and we're gonna move them like this. And we'll rotate them just like that. Press W, and we'll just put them like that. Press R to essentially make them fixed in that sense. And we're gonna move them just like this. Put that down there, put that down there, put that down there. Put that down there, put that down there. Alright, so okay, I'm starting to see this, but alright, now you can use your knife tool and actually connect the dots here. See that? Knife tool here, knife tool there. Connect each thing separately to get that connection right. Just like this, just like that. Alright, just like this. And then I'm going to dissolve the vertex here. Just dissolve vertice, just like that. And dissolve it just like this, there. Just here, there. Alright, just like that. Vertices just like that, dissolve, or dissolve vertices just like that. Just like that. Cool. All right. Cool. Now we got this up straight out. And now we're gonna try and move this here, just like that. Now we're gonna click on this, and we're gonna click on that. There we go. Well, actually no, we don't really need that. Oh yeah. Alright, so we can do this here. There, and there. There, and there. It's not gonna be too perfect, but it just has to work in the end, so yeah. There we go. There we go. And we're gonna do this and this. Do this and this. This and this. This and this. And no vertices, click on that. Dissolve vertices in the end. So see how I'm starting to create the details one step at a time. Just like that. Alright, we got ourselves our very particular design, and with our arm like that. So we're gonna click on this, just there, just there, just there. Alright, cool. Now we can start acting. Well, first we're gonna try and clean this up. Actually, yep, just like that. Alright, now we're getting close, so there we go. Now let's clean this up. Put that edge there. There. Edge loop there. There we go. So now we have this up there, right? Now we're gonna try and slowly fix this in the end. Slowly fix it, and now I got all of this right. So technically, this is gonna work. So go back to object mode, put add Mega Mesh, and make a cube. Remember the process that we taught you before? I showed you before. So this time we're gonna do the exact same thing. Only this time we're gonna make our hands bigger. This time, press R like this. Rotate or scale it by using R. Then do this. Press edit, press this, click on that, make the points here open up like that, do just like this. Then you press in two vertices here and here, and click on that, press W, just like that. Press R, I like this too, just like that. Just this, just like this. Now you're gonna connect the dots like this. Now extrudes this as individuals. You do it by normals like this, just like this, right? But you do this by individuals, it will do something like this. Do this one. One, two. One, two, three. Just like that. There. So now we got this right. Now we're gonna try and make it more cleaned up by using vertices. Since you planned that out, or you saw how I planned it out, it will slowly change these things to actually direct itself to make it look more like a hand in a sense. You see what's going on here? I'm slowly using the vertices to control how it's being looked at in a sense. Just like that. Just like, oh wait. Alright, so W here, we would like this. We would also like this too. We would just like that. There's E like this. Just like this. And now you're slowly seeing what I'm doing, right? Now you're starting to see what I'm doing in that sense. When you fill it and you try and create the hands in that distinct shape, you can start detailing it and giving more of that level of understanding of realistic form, or at least practical form in that sense. Here, just like that. There's R, there's this here too. Make this also like that. Make it smaller like this. Make it smaller. Make it smaller. Make it smaller like this. Make it smaller like that. Smaller like this. Smaller like that. Just like that. Just like this. Just like that. E, and actually, it's that, this here, just E, just that, just like that. Cool. Now we're gonna make the part here like this, and then we're gonna make the part of that hand that we're trying to talk about in that sense. This. Now I'm gonna try and take this out. This W here, do it like this, like that, do this, just like that, Control E, like this, and use X-ray again to make it a little more humanoid, like this, and like that. Just like that. Give me a second. Yep. Alright, now we'll look at something here. Alright, cool. Now I'm gonna put this our hand like this, and just like this, like that, and just do it like this, and then we're gonna press R here, and just put it like that, and then just like this. That, Control E. Like that. This R here like that. Just like this R. Press E again. Press that. Press that again. Just like that. Head in the edge loop. Now we're gonna try and, well, if we try this in that sense, it's gonna break. So see how it does that in that sense? You can do this if you want, But since we're trying to make it a little more simple, we're going to try and add details a little more in a very controlled stance. So we're not going to do too much. We're just going to add these things here, slowly add that detail slowly, and that will give us more of that control or what we want in that sense. You see that? This will give us the loops for us to actually carve it out when we actually finish the details. Now you see this? Now we're going to try and do something a little more special. So we're going to dissolve some of the vertices here, and that will allow us to essentially, that's going to allow us to essentially, okay, if it does that, then you gotta do it on the other side too, so like this. Dissolve vertices, okay, it does that, so this. So take it one step at a time, yeah, just like that. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Stop vertices. That's a no. Actually. Oh, I forgot. So you gotta do all this first. So you gotta create this, Control E, then you create that. So try to do this in normals. And when you do that, then you can slowly take out some of the edges here, like that. Dissolve edges. And then once that happens, then you can essentially take off these ones as well. Just like that. Dissolve vertices. Dissolve vertices. Alright, there we go. Alright, and dissolve vertices here as well. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna try and alright, cool. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I usually gotta take out the other 4 in that sense too. So delete and dissolve vertices. If that happens in the end, just delete, dissolve edges. And then if that delete, dissolve vertices. If it still doesn't work, then you have to keep doing this until you actually are able to take off the vertices. Edges. So now we have a, yeah, now we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if there's problems with the vertices to skill set, just delete the edges instead, as you can tell. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Alright, cool. Now we're going to do this here, and we're gonna try and press W. Okay, and let's put that down there. Put this there. Okay, so first we're gonna try and delete faces, and press Control that. Do this here, just like that. Let's check up on our thing here. You see how I was looking at the video to show what's going on? I used that as reference for me to look at the things and exercise how I can create the hands with some practice and referencing. That's how you can educate yourself when you're slowly looking at a process. You visualize it, but you don't fully copy it. You just gain the intellect and what they're trying to guide you into. You innovate the idea, and then you can conceptualize it depending on what you want. Okay, so now we're this. We're gonna join. Let's edit. Same thing as last time. this, turn on this, like that, that, like that, like that, that, that. Now we're gonna try and just do the same as last time. This. Here. 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 Oh, look at that. I didn't really... Try this. And this. Merge to the center. Alright, so I want to make an edge here. That's just like here to here. Just like that. And click on this. Just click on that. Merge vertices, and then I want to merge vertices here too. I'm trying to work right now. I'm merging vertices. Alright, there we go. And alright. Cool. Now we did it. Now we can put this piece here just like that. And now you have yourselves a muscular or kind of muscular guy in a sense. It's not perfect, but it works nonetheless. Because what you can do now is that you can essentially put this like that, slowly show your work in a sense, and just slowly add in details. Because since everything is connected in that sense, you can actually add in the right details depending on what you want, and that will allow you to essentially smooth out the work the way you want in that sense. See that? So press edit. We're gonna make this a little bit longer in that sense by doing this. We're gonna make this longer, or actually this part here longer, part there longer in that sense. Go. Click on that, and then click on this, and click on that, just like that. And you can put more muscles there like that too. Alright, now we did this in the end. Now we're gonna put this into the thing here, and do vice versa on the other side. So I'm gonna press here and press control like this. Just like that, you see that? Control C and V up there as well. We're gonna inverse this in the end, just like that. Oh, actually, we don't want to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to do mirror, so Control C and V, mirror on the X global, and then press W, and then that's going to do this. Press edit, and press all. This UV or mesh. Alright, so see, you know, see what happens? So you go to edit mode and you try and use this, it does that, right? So try and do this and this, press edit. And it kind of looks kind of off, right? So I'm trying to teach you guys that if you do this by accident, always remember to go back and go to mesh and then normals and then flip. Always remember that, so. Alright. Now we can actually start connecting the body assets too. Just like this. And then we're gonna go here and press this and this. Actually, this one too. And we're gonna press edit or join, and we're gonna press edit. Now we're gonna essentially try and add modify to characters. Press W here like that, or use the thing here like that. Just like that. I like that. Okay, you see what's going on? So you have to make it a little bit more like cleaned up in that sense. So we're gonna try and like put this just like this so that we can clean it up further. So when we do this in the end, we're gonna have to try and like be careful when we use our tools in that sense. So we do this or like that. That, like that, like that, and like that also. Now on to the next one. So we're gonna do this here also. I'm gonna try and move this over here. As well. Move it here 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 as well too. Alright, cool. Now we're gonna start actually merging it. Since we joined already, we can might as well just merge it like this. This, and now this, that. Same thing applies to this one too, so yeah. All right, cool. Since we did this, now we can actually start putting them back together in one piece. So we do this here, and then we do like this, so like this here, like that, or just like that. See what I did here? So, alright. So if this doesn't work right, you could technically just slowly put the vertices in the right space. So if I were to do this right, I'm gonna put it like this. Do it like this here. Just like that. Alright, cool. Same for this one too. So I'm gonna put this up here, put that there, put that actually this, put up there, this up here, like just slowly merge them together like what we done last time. Now since we did this, now we're gonna start focusing on fixing these parts here and just making them a little bit more on that same spot here, just like that. Alright, so you can tell that the base is not really actually the same thing as the Zangief character that we created, and that's mainly because I'm trying to show you how to create the bases with some muscular parts separate one at a time. So And then you can slowly try and like manage it by doing these things here and just slowly adding the parts when you're needed. You can also try and do something else, such as going here and then you can essentially just sculpt it and just smooth it out if you want to or not. So for this case, I'm gonna go to sculpt and I'm gonna try and make this bigger in a sense. Just like that. So sculpt X. Alright, it's not like that, so I gotta do it like this. Just like that, one step at a time. You see what's going on? So you can do it like this. But since we're not doing that yet, so now we're gonna actually start writing more details into the, how should I say it? To the, here, there we go. So we're gonna look at the edges here, and each edge that we see here, we're going to essentially blend it, or at least bevel it to make it to add more details to this distinct size in that sense. That. And you see how I'm slowly adding the details, slowly? I'm just not doing too much on most parts of it, I'm just slowly adding it on parts of it that are parts of the mesh that's actually needed in that sense. So just like that. Alright, so now we're gonna go back here, and then we're gonna slowly fix these things in the end. It's hard, just like that, and then just like that. Actually, do this, and this. Move that body like that, and go to each edge, and then slowly make the body pop out in that sense. Alright, cool. We got our base AdSense too. And now we're going to start actually, well, in most cases, we're going to start actually, adding more of that body build to it. So now we're going to start to go to sculpt mode. We're going to clean this up here. Clean this up as well. And we're going to start adding more density to this in the end too. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Edit. Now we're gonna try and do something more special here, so we can actually try and do this here, 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 here also. And then we'll use this here too. Just like that. Alright, cool. So now we can actually start, well, first we gotta do here two, here two, also, and here too. Alright, now we're gonna make the legs a little bit bigger in that sense. This is a little bit too big for what it's worth, so we're gonna make the legs bigger. So just like that, just W this down here. Just like that there, this bar. There we go. Now for the face. Same as last time, but since our face is a little bit more simpler, right? We can essentially go to edit mode and place where we want to place everything that we want. So as we look at this, we're gonna add in a specific spot here and spot here, right? And here, right? Make them off here, make them off there. So here and here, just like that. And then you see the mouth here too. So we can essentially make the mouth from this part here. So we're gonna make this, actually this here. And then we're gonna make the mouth open up like this too. The edge loop here, delete, resolve edges, resolve edges here too. Now I got this face here, right? So now we're gonna select this, press I, insert the face to make the mouth move on like that too. We're gonna make the nose pop up here as well. Control E, do it just like this. Put that there, put this there. Put down there, just put this down here, there as well, here as well, and we're gonna make the nose up like this too, just like that and that, here too like this. Since he has a nostril like that, we're gonna add some really cool nostrils nonetheless, like that, to do this and this. Ctrl E, like that. And then it's just like that. And we click on this. Click on this also. There we go. Now we can add this point here, this point here to be, or make the nose pop up like that. The nose looks a little bit too big in that sense, so we're gonna go back here. We're gonna click on these options here that we have here. Click on each of the points we have here in that sense. Every point we have here in that sense. And then this, and this. This and this. And we're gonna slowly do this like that. Make it a little bit smaller, not too small, but small enough. And then we do this just like that. And then you see what's going on here? I put that there. Press R to change the level of that eye in that sense. Just like that. Now I want to put some details here too. And then for this overall, we're gonna make the eyes smaller this time. So we're gonna make the eyes just like this. Smaller. Here, just like that. Just like that. And then the mouth is not going to be so robotic, as we're going to make this more simple to look at. Put this over here, put that over there, make it smaller like this, and like this also. Now we're going to make the lips pop out a little bit. So edges here have to pop out as well. As well. It's hard, just like this. Cool. All right. Take out the mouth pieces out and the eyelids out. This and this. Take this out. Take that out. And take this. Here. W, slowly carve that out. Make a new face here, and then just like that. Okay, so now we did this in the end. Now we're gonna have to press R. There you go. Alright, now I'm gonna try and add in the thing here, thing here. Click on these two, and these are gonna be our eyebrows, makes sense. Our not eyebrows, but this is gonna be where our creases for our face, makes sense. And it's W. It's all crunched back like this, right? You can always essentially just make it less crunched and give it more of that muscular feel to it, not like a dinosaur like this, right? There and there and there. Sculpt and just slowly change the details here, just like that. Change it like that, like that, like that. Edit. Now we're gonna create the details for the nose. Keep adding the details like this, and once you do that, you can actually start creasing it one step at a time. Yep, just like that. It's a 2-hour video, but now you guys now know what I'm talking about. So at least now you guys know nonetheless. Also, we can also try and change this too, and just make this bigger if we want. There we go, and there we go. See, now it fully fixes itself, and now it's fully in that development feel and flow. Now, mouse for muscles here, we're gonna fix that here, fix that there, fix that here, fix that there, fix it here, fix it there, fix it here, fix it there. As for the feet, we can talk more about it, but for now, this is what I'm talking about in terms of a mesh. So now I want to shape this just like that. Make the toes here, so you separate each toe like that, click on these like that, and then you just do it just like this. But if you want, just press I, separates this for you. Press I again for the separate ones too, separates, and then you press I, just click on these four also, press Control E. Then you press mask here, just down there, down here also, just like that. Bring the muscles here and here. And now we got ourselves a buff character nonetheless. Speaking of which, to make it even more buff, we're gonna do this. And make the muscles buff like that. This too. Here as well. there we have it. We got our mouth, our nose, and everything else. Even the feet too, to some extent too. Now I'm gonna add some more of those muscles here too, so check it. You see how I'm doing it? So with this plus sign, muscles here, muscles here, muscles here, muscles here, muscles here. And I want to move some parts here, so I want to go back here. These much more smaller in that sense. Put these here. These parts here. Much more smaller as well. That sense. And then now we're gonna make that chin and knees here much more bigger in that sense. So we're gonna be adding some more depth to it, just like this, just like that, just like this, just like that also. There we go. We got ourselves what we have right now. See that? Just like that. Just like that. Yep, now we got ourselves what we needed. Put some more details here. finally coming together. Alright. Alright. We took this for around 2 hours, so this is a longer session, but this is what I'm talking about. We upgraded the eyelids for this too. The nose structure also. That also too. We upgraded these things as well. And it's pretty good nonetheless. As you can tell, well, nonetheless too. Next, we're going to be creating the high poly version of this character. As you can tell, this is our low poly version of the basic sculpt. Which means I've now shown you what I would do if I were to create a buff body base mesh. It's not perfect, but it works what it's worth in that sense too. It works well enough, so it's not bad. Cool. Now you know. Well, in these next videos, I'll shock to talk some more about how to create the high sculpt and some more armor sets based on this buff character. So thank you so much for viewing this. So yeah, catch you later. This is out.